Jimmy Kimmel, he always does these great on-the-street bits that I love. And he did one in honor of Dr. Seuss's birthday, which is also known as Read Across America Day. And he hit the street asking people, hey, can you name a book? Not a specific book, not even a book that you've read recently. Just, can you name any book? And I'm going to let you see how that went.
Can you name a book?
Geez, on the spot, I can't.
Can you name a book?
Oh, no, that's a bad one. What's one of the ones they make you read in high school? Fahrenheit something, 470 something?
Can you name a book?
I love food.
Is that a book?
Yes,
What is it about?
it's food.
Yeah. The clip is much longer than that. There were so many people who could not name a single book. So I did some research into this, and it turns out that the US is number 28 among 214 countries in literacy, which is not awful, but considering the amount of money that we spend on education in this country, it should be much higher than that. 32. I also found that 27% of Americans say that they have not read a single book within the last year, and that number was 32% of men. 1 in every 3 men has not read a book in the last year, and those are just the ones being honest about it, because that's a hard thing to admit. Which is very frustrating to me, because I'm a nerd, and I really like books. And maybe it's just hard for people to find a book that they're really into. So I went upstairs to my bookshelf, and I thought I'd give you a couple recommendations of some of my favorite books. Starting with, obviously, like, Jurassic Park. This book is exceptional. The movie is one of my favorite movies of all time, probably like my second favorite movie of all time. Second after Mean Girls, sorry about it. I have watched it a million times. It's great. The book is even better. It's so good. It gets really deep into the science. There's all sorts of other stuff that's not in the movie. This is a copy that I've obviously had for a long time. I bought it from the library at a used book sale in middle school for like nothing. And I have taken this all over the place with me. I've read it a million times. I've taken it to Costa Rica. I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you're looking for something to get into, it's easy because it's Jurassic Park. You already like Jurassic Park. Another thing that I'm really into is dystopian future, and Hunger Games is great, but if you like that one, you should get what I would consider the gold standard in dystopian future, George Orwell's 1984. If you haven't read it already, it was written in the 50s about 1984 and the dystopian future of an authoritarian government who took over. And it echoes so many things that are happening in current events, and also it's just fascinating because here's the dirty secret. What they don't tell you in high school when you read this book, because they're all like, oh, it's all about these big government things, and it's just like, yawn. It's a love story, and it's probably one of the best love stories I've ever read in my entire life. These people are willing to risk death just to spend a couple of minutes together in a secret house sometimes, and kiss even though they're not supposed to kiss. George Orwell's 1984. Read it. It's exceptional. Even if you were supposed to read it in high school and you didn't, I promise you'll like it. Then we've got this one. If you are not into fiction and you'd like to read something about... I love nonfiction. I read a lot of biographies. This is a biography called Wu. Wu was the first and only female emperor of China. Not Empress. She was the emperor. She was the god. And she killed and schemed and manipulated and spied and did some horrifying things to get power and retain it. So this book is called Wu, the Chinese Empress who schemed, seduced, and murdered her way to become a living god, by Jonathan Clements. It's a good one. It's hard though, so if you don't like the true crimey stuff, probably not going to be for you. And finally, this book changed my life. I know how silly it looks because it's a cartoon book. It's a graphic novel, but it's based off of the blog by the artist. Her name is Allie Brosh, and she talks about some heavy stuff in here. Obviously, it's all a lot of really funny, silly stuff, but there's this whole chapter on depression that helped me understand depression in a way that I didn't know before. She talks about how she's like, I saw this DVD that I was supposed to take back to the video store, and it was just right there on the arm of the couch. And I walked past it every day, and I would look at it, and it would stress me out, and I'd be like, why can't I do something so simple as take a movie back to the Blockbuster? And then she gets into it, and she gets into depression, and that's when, you know, I started to realize that that's probably something I need help with too. And now I am seeing a therapist, I'm on medication. This book literally changed my life, and it's a cartoon. You're gonna love it, it's hilarious. So those are the ones I'd recommend for you to get started if you're looking for a good book recommendation. Don't end up like those people on Jimmy Kimmel who can't name a single book, including Harry Potter, or Lord of the Rings, or the Bible, To Kill a Mockingbird. I mean, even if you've never read any of those books, you know the names. It's so crazy that that happened. So, go read something. Go to the library, pick something up. It's good for you. And finally,